this joyous occasion. On behalf of Neil Boyle, Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES District Superintendent and Chief Executive Officer, and the BOCES Board, I welcome you to the 25th anniversary celebration of the Future School Leaders Academy that we affectionately refer to as FSLA. And Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES is exceptionally proud to have been a part of supporting what has become an extraordinary regional leadership movement since its inception. A special thanks to our cherished colleagues and partners from Bank Street. Without them, the program would not have been able to flourish and thrive, nor gain the momentum or prestige that is continually garnered over the years.
Good evening. My name is Tasha Wright, Coordinator of School Leadership in the Center for Educational Leadership at Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES. It's my honor to be with you all this evening to celebrate 25 years of this illustrious program. We have a wonderful evening planned for you, but first I would like to acknowledge two people in the room who are going to be maybe surprised about this. But the first, we have advisory committee members who are very committed to the program and steering different initiatives and making sure that the program is a success. We have an advisory member that is retiring, and so we would like to honor Andrew Selesnick for his years of service. Advisory committee, and that is Dr. Eric Byrne. Eric.
We talk about FSLA at Bank Street, we are so proud. We are so proud of all of you. We're so proud of all the work that happens in the BOCES. We're so proud of this program. And as we are moving around the metro area, talking to people across the metro area about forming partnerships, everyone knows about FSLA. And we are just so honored to have been a part of sharing this work with you and of generating generations of school leaders. And I just really want to say that we value you, we value your work, and we really believe strongly in being very closely tied to each and every one of you, and to building new relationships and maintaining the ones that we have.
I'll say one thing that's important about the work of FSLA, and that is it's embedded in a relationship with school districts, right? That the ability to nurture and to develop and then support leadership within your district makes all the difference in the world, right? Because as you were saying, relationships are the things that we need to have in building and supporting our future leaders. And that's important because for a while in New York City, there was a myth that anybody became a principal could become a principal in any school in the city, right? And we lost a lot of good people from that misconception. And one of the things that we changed about that was it's important to match people to schools, to match people to districts, to match people to the work. And we can only do that if we know people well, can support them and care for them. And I think at the heart of FSLA, that's what it's about. It's about the ability to care for, nurture, support, and develop our future leaders.
What's the work? Where do we look? How do we prepare for that? And so Anthony said it best. It's about knowing, right? It's when we talk about partnerships. For me, in the work that we do, it's about three things. One, what's in it for me? Why? What's my why? For my partner, what's in it for them? What's their why? And then to be able to talk about that and find out where's the common why. And then the big piece is how do you make it sustainable?
Greatest honor, I think, of the entire evening to introduce Renee Gargano, our next treasured presenter, who likely needs no introduction since she is such a beloved, well-known, and highly admired and respected leadership icon in our region and beyond. On behalf of the decades of FSLA family members, I wish to convey immense gratitude and appreciation to Renee, former Deputy Superintendent of Putnam North and Westchester BOCES, and founder of countless leadership programs like FSLA that live on today as part of her impressive legacy. 25 years ago, FSLA was born, the brainchild of Renee and Tom Sobel, former Superintendent of Schools, New York State Education Commissioner, and tireless educational advocate. What they envisioned for the highest quality leadership preparation programs has come to pass many times over, and we are extremely honored to continue to carry their torches forward with each passing cohort. During the past quarter century, the program has grown progressively and evolved into one that has supported generations of key leaders throughout the region and beyond. To date, the program has served 13 leadership cohorts. I think they're all represented here tonight, and over 260 graduates, the majority holding key leadership positions in our region. Like Renee, Tom, and so many other magnificent leaders who are here tonight and have touched and elevated this program, we look forward to the continued advancement and all that lies ahead in the years to come for this remarkable program. Renee, there is not a day that goes by that we don't think of you, speak of you, remember you, and appreciate you for everything you have done for FSLA, Putnam North and Westchester BOCES, the region, and so many of us. We will forever remain eternally grateful for your vision, as well as your longtime leadership and friendship. But most importantly, we will always hold you near and dear to our hearts for the extraordinarily special person that you are to each of us. So without further ado, Renee Gargano.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Lynn. I feel almost speechless after listening to that. But Lynn, as she always does, gave me a very important assignment for this evening, which is to share the rich history of FSLA. And it is quite rich, and this brought me down memory lane, so I've tried to construct that for you. So here we go. Once upon a time, back in the 1990s, our region faced a daunting challenge, a shortage of school leaders. Seemingly overnight, we went from receiving over 150 resumes per vacancy to about 25. And within that 25, there were very few equipped to lead our schools. This became a focal point in our monthly superintendent meetings, prompting me to figure out how to conjure up a solution to this pretty serious problem. As a believer in the grow our own approach, I was freshly coming off one of my earlier programs, Today's Students, Tomorrow's Teachers, TSTT. TSTT's goal, as it remains today, was to encourage high school students of color to enter a career in teaching. It seemed to me that this made the most sense, essentially because everything else that we were doing did not work. FSAA was conceived from this same philosophy: grow our own school leaders. And like TSTT, it continues to flourish. You can see from early on that I was into acronyms, and there are many more that follow, so hang in there with me. So it was the fall of 1998. I very nervously, I remember I was much younger then, presented my proposal to the 18 component school superintendents in Putnam, North and Westchester BOCES. To my delight, there was resounding support and excitement about this, and such enthusiasm, it was truly invigorating. A critical hook in the proposal ensured a strong commitment. Students would be admitted by superintendent nomination only. The district was required to pay 1/3 of the student's tuition. The then unnamed university partner would pay 1/3, and then the student themselves would pay the remaining third. This approach garnered commitment and buy-in. In my mind, it was a put up or shut up proposition, which actually worked. I dreamed of a prestigious university partner, but this honestly felt like the most difficult thing, almost impossible. That's because in those years, we didn't have any university partnerships. It was truly a gift when the dear late Dr. Bruce Dennis, then superintendent of Bedford, offered to facilitate a crucial connection with Teachers College and Dr. Tom Sobel, former New York State Commissioner of Education and renowned visionary. What could be better than that? Absolutely nothing. Despite the harrowing car ride down to Teachers College with Bruce Dennis at the wheel and me in a sweat, kind of crying, the death trip to meet Tom Sobel was absolutely worth it. It was magical. I was starstruck. Tom Sobel was larger than life. He became my mentor and friend. And as we hatched what is now FSLA, we used to say, I had the ideas, and he would put the meat on the bones. And he sure did. Without him, there would be nothing. Tom was our champion, our inspiration, that person who consistently served as a moral compass. He was a tireless advocate for children, for all children, an ethical and just leader who was always passionate about his work. We launched the program in 1999, nurturing a talented group of very young teachers who were nominated by their superintendents. Remarkably, several of them are here with us this evening, and they are all grown up and quite accomplished. And I must tell you, I couldn't be prouder. Along with Tom Sobel, we were blessed to have Bruce Dennis and the dear Dr. Marjorie Castro, former superintendent of the Croton School District. And they teamed up together to form the most dynamic instructional duo. Bruce always said that he needed Marjorie because somebody had to do all the work. And those of us that were close to that really knew that to be true. Right, Marjorie? Marjorie and Bruce taught the 2-year-long district leadership course for the first 5 cohorts of FSAA, which was over 100 future leaders. They were their advisors, confidants, and even their negotiators. That was always my favorite part. They really knew how to close the deal when our students were ready to get that first administrative role. They were so dynamic, and they set the tone for the program's success. Tom sadly was struck with Parkinson's disease and was bedridden for 5 years. It didn't stop him. Our weekly breakfast meetings ultimately moved to his home, and we worked at his bedside. But soon after, we realized it was time to transition the program from Teachers College. Enter Dr. Terry Orr, a professor and strong supporter of the program, had moved from TC to Bank Street College. Through Terry's efforts, we were able to move the program to Bank Street, and FSAA became FSLA in 2005. It was a stroke of luck that the incredible Joan Thompson, then superintendent of the Hendrick Hudson School District, announced her retirement. I think it was within the first 24 hours that I convinced her and scooped her up to be my partner in CEL, the Center for Educational Leadership, that was expanding so quickly that I needed a partner, and that was Joan. Joan took over the FSLA reins, beginning with Cohort 6, and co-directed FSLA with Terry. And what a team they were. Under their leadership, FSLA flourished, reaching new heights with an enhanced curriculum and advisory model. Terry's extensive research on FSLA and its impressive outcomes gained national recognition. Joan was the heart and soul of FSLA. There was no one like her. We had a winning formula. The best team of leaders, great professors, amazing Bank Street advisors, and the strongest students, bar none. We had a great advisory committee that had skin in the game. So many dedicated themselves to the success of our students. Many of these originals, giants in our field, are also here this evening. It's so great to see those faces. There were many great teams that followed. We were so lucky that the top leaders in the field wanted to participate in growing the next generation of leadership. This was way before the term "pay it forward" was coined. The region has maintained a strong commitment to the program's original mission. Students from our early cohorts became top leaders in the region and ultimately joined our faculty. Drew Patrick, Ray Sanchez, and Andrew Selesnik, to name a few. When we admitted them to FSAA, they looked like high schoolers. I mean, seriously, like not old enough to drive a car. And now, Andrew is retiring. And I don't know how that's possible, because I think that might make me 90 years old. So, Andrew, I'm so very proud of you. Congratulations, but really, seriously? And before tonight, you had to like do that? But my belief in grow our own approach didn't end there. As we were missing one more step, a terminal degree, a doctoral program. It began with one successful cohort with Fordham University and my mighty 12, whom for the most part became among the most well-respected leaders in the region. The incredible Lynn Allen, Joel Adelberg, Eric Byrne, Jim Cation, and I'm just naming a few because there were 12 of them. We lost that partnership, but soon after, I was fortunate enough to work with a talented group from Manhattanville College, now Manhattanville University, by the way, to create Manhattanville's first doctoral program, the Doctoral Program in Educational Leadership. As a result, so many of our FSAA and our FSLA grads continued their journey to pursue their doctoral degree. My perfect recruits. Many of them are here this evening too. It is a true testament to the significant commitment and the countless contributions of PNW BOCES to nurturing outstanding leadership in our schools. There is so much more, honestly, for me to share with you, but it would require us to have an all-night pajama party for me to cover it all, and I'm sure you'd like to go home instead. So I would like to thank all of you for taking the time out of what I know are crazy busy schedules to be with us tonight, because quite honestly, in the end, it's really all about the students that we serve. Seeing you here this evening means more than you know. I stand in awe of your accomplishments, and I follow you closely with so much pride. My favorite pastime these days is to brag about you, so keep it coming. At the end of one's career in school leadership, we realize that we are all teachers. So I will leave you with a quote from Tom Sobel, who said it best as always. Then I began teaching, and life exploded. I embraced my students with passion beyond understanding. They were everything to me. I flew into a vast new space, winged and exalted. I had never felt such strength, such energy, such fire. I never experienced such engagement, such completeness. Some people discover that they have a gift for singing, or dancing, or acting, or healing, or making money. I discovered that I had the gift of teaching. As I used it, I came alive, and it became who I am, Tom Sobel. We here are truly the lucky ones. How blessed we all are, and how blessed I am to have had this opportunity to share this celebration with all of you.
Because I am committed to public education. Not to Harrison Central School District, but to public education. And what this program has allowed you to do, whether you know it or not, is to leverage change across a region. Not any region, by the way. Westchester County is one of the most influential regions in public education in the country. And so the reason that FSLA is important, maybe, is if you took that to heart. Or maybe you didn't. And then you won't feel that tether. Then you'll be looking for the office with the good view, instead of doing what's right and what might cost you your job. Tom Sobel told me in his class on values in our doctoral program that when he got fired, he had no idea that 10 years later, he would reflect on that moment and think it was the best decision he ever made. Because it defined who he was as an educator. He was willing to risk everything. And that's what you need to think about FSLA. Because I think that's the value of the cohort. That's what it's like to be a good leader. Good leaders make a difference. And in some ways, our lives are a lot like that parent. Because you don't get a pat on the back for doing the right thing. Sometimes your gratitude is never felt. You're always deferring what other people want. Good leaders tell people the truth. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth. They're not going to love you. I've been a superintendent now. This is the end of my 22nd year. I've kept my job by 2 votes 3 times. Here's another big story. I'm going to disagree a little bit. I don't think you find a fit. Most of us lead communities that don't share our values. Are you going to just keep running until you find the perfect place? The real test I would give for leadership is I take little kids and I put them in front of a closet door that was filled with dog poop. And the kid that runs away is not the leader. The kid that jumps in and says, I know there's a puppy in there somewhere, is what it takes to be a leader. You have to see the possibility in people. You can't fire everybody, by the way, either. So the reason I want you to think for a moment why this celebration is important, it's really not that FSLA has survived. It's that it's made an impact on the perception of what's possible in public schools in this region. And your connection, or the lack thereof, is on you. If you feel connected to your cohort, then we were successful. And if you don't, we were not. If we had to remind you that your bonds are significant and have nothing to do what number cohort you were in. My cohort in Teachers College was in 1999, Terry, you were. And most of those people are still my dearest friends. Because when you connect around principle and purpose, it doesn't matter what school district you're in. I'm not serving some kids, I'm serving all kids. And that's why FSLA is important. I have put 17 people through FSLA. I win, by the way, I just want to say that. But it's not just because it's half price. Could be less, Anthony, if you can help us with that. It's because we're inculcating another generation of leaders into a belief system. FSLA is about a belief that public school serves the most important purpose in any democratic society. And I want to tell you that's at risk. That's at risk. And we're preparing you, the newbies, and those of you that are out there, to do that work.
Attendant of Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES and FSLA Advisory Committee member, Dr. Allen. John Chambers, longtime FSLA advisor, recently retired. Dr. Anthony Kennelly, former co-chair of the FSLA program and former chair of the Educational Leadership Department at Main Street. Dr. Kennelly. Anita Feldman, longtime Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES board member and FSLA Advisory Committee member. Next, I would like to invite Jackie Levine, former coordinator of school. Thank you. Next, Joan Thompson, former coordinator of the FSLA Council.
But it started out with the good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And as I was sitting here, I thought, we're not ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to say good evening, FSLA family. This is I'm here on behalf of the advisory board. I'm a member of the board and have been so since 2017 when a very wise advisor suggested that we might need some student representatives on the board, and that conversation came to be, and here I am. I stand before you tonight as an alum, and I'm really here to encourage. I'm channeling my inner Renee right now. We're going to start something new. So, as we gather this evening to celebrate the 25th anniversary of our program, it fills me with great pride and honor to be in front of such an esteemed group of individuals and collectively an amazing group of people. Over the past quarter century, our program has produced 12 and a half exceptional cohorts of graduates, each contributed in our own way to the field of education and school administration. But tonight, it's not just about celebrating our past. It is about embracing the boundaries and all the boundless potential that lies before us. I'm here to make you a deal. We would like to keep this family feeling going. And as the alumni member on the FSLA Advisory Board, I want to encourage you to join me. We, in forming an alumni organization, had the opportunity to harness our collective power and drive to make meaningful change. Through collaboration, networking, and continued learning, we can amplify our impact, support each other in our professional endeavors, and champion positive change in the field of education. Together, we have the knowledge, we now are getting our experience, and the passion to face the challenges that are facing both our schools and our communities. Whether it be advocating for equitable access to education, fostering inclusive environments, or embracing innovative teaching practices, Our alumni organization can serve as a catalyst for this change. As we embark on the next chapter of this program's history, I am so inspired by the first 25 years that I urge each of us to consider our invaluable role that we can play in shaping the future of this organization. Let us seize this moment to come together, to inspire and empower one another, and to leave a lasting legacy that transcends not only the districts that we work in, but also embodies our collective passion for this important and very necessary work. Thank you for your dedication and your commitment to public education. Please, we would love for you to reach out to our partners at PNW BOCES if you are interested in keeping this going. We would certainly not want this to be the last. We want this to be the first of many events that bring our alums and leaders and supporters together. I extend a sincere thank you and the warmest congratulations to all of us. May our collective efforts continue to illuminate our path forward for generations to come. Again, this is not our last. It's only the first, and here's to the next 25 years of excellence and impact. Thank you.
So I got a text last week from Selena, and she's like, call me. So I called immediately. She's like, we have great news, great news, great news. And I'm like, what is the news? And she says, we want you to give the closing remarks at the event. And I said, really? And she's like, absolutely. And I said, why me? And then we laughed and I acquiesced. And then I called Lauren and I said, please do not back out of the FSLA event. And we laughed again. This morning, I still wasn't prepared. I didn't know what to say because I was sitting in the room with so many people that I admire, that I respect, and I sit in awe of. I knew also that folks from cohort 13 were going to be here, and I knew I had to show up like in the best way for them. And so bring on all the stress and all the pressure. So I heeded the advice from a good friend, which was to upload your graduation speech from 2021 to ChatGPT, and then insert 3 jokes and you'll be fine. So I opened my speech from 2021 and I reread it. And surprisingly, it was really good, if I do say so myself. And then I realized that there was something embedded in those words and in that message that generative AI would not be able to capture. It's a lesson in the we, in the we. All of us in this room have a connection, and that connection is more than special. The beauty of FSAA and FSLA, that experience has shaped each and every one of us for the better. No matter what your connection to the program, we are all part of one another because of FSAA and FSLA. Being an educational leader is difficult in general, but coupled with the ever-changing socio-political landscape, change movements, global strife, and local school boards, our work is ever more challenging, but ever more necessary. So, I leave you with a few words from 2021 that still hold true in 2024. For each of us here this evening, someone saw something in you that you hadn't been able to see in yourself. That's what brought us all together. Your spirit, your strength, your boldness, your passion, your commitment. That's why we are all here today. FSLA allowed us to connect our purpose with our gifts. Each one of us has a gift, and through this experience, we were able to examine who we truly are and what we believe, and actualize those commitments with our work with our students and families. Those of you in cohort 11 always knew that I was the counter voice. I always challenged and wondered openly, sorry Fred, sorry Scott, sorry Ray, sorry Drew, because I did push back a lot. I realized to the learning than just what was in the books. I realized that there was a lesson within the we. We relied on our resilience and continued to persevere as future leaders. We embraced our commitments and affirmed our dedication to students and families. We learn and unlearn together. We challenge one another. We did this together, and we continue to do this together. Again, the lesson is in the we. We are a family. Each cohort, each with its special bond, representing 25 years of relationship, community, and connection. There is power in that. Remember that. We in this room have done that together. We are doing this together. We're here today because each of us has stood beside one of us, before us, in front of us, the people who have come before us, the people who will come after us. We are all one collective unit, and there's power and strength in that. The lesson is in the we, and that is something I'm truly grateful for. As I prepare to close, I would be remiss if I didn't leave you with a few takeaways, because as educators, we all love a great bullet point list of things to take away. So, don't be afraid to let others see your integrity. Practice critical reflection and self-accountability. If it's only good for some, then it's not good. Collective over individual. We over I. As you grow in leadership, teach others how to do the same. Speak positivity in all that you do. Differences matter as much as similarities. Value the differences. That's what makes us us. And with that, I challenge each of us to live in the dream space. Dream about an educational landscape that moves beyond status quo and tradition, but is liberatory and inclusive, and then dedicate your work to actualizing those dreams. As we close this evening, look around the room and support one another, be there for each other, lean on each other as you actualize those commitments of leadership, and never forget that we are the change that is needed right now. Be the leaders of the future in the here and the now. Thank you, everyone.